This is Adam Post, creator of College of the Dead, the ongoing zombie apocalypse series, as well as publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Whoop, there I am again. If I don't do echo, then I don't appreciate my guest. I always like to get echo in there. All right, we got a little echo in there. Well, I have published more than 1,000 comics. I have not hosted more than 1,000 shows, but we're getting into it. We're getting it done. But tonight, the focus really is on Ben Fuse, who is the creator and writer of Outlaw Nights, which is Genesis, #1, Genesis of a Renegade, which means the development and the beginning of a renegade. And Ben is with us. We're talking about his book. This is the first time I've ever done this, and I actually am pretty excited to do this because we get to tell people about the book before the book comes out. Ben's been doing promotion. He's been on a couple of different shows. People know who he is, and I've heard him a couple times. I've heard his artist. His artist and I actually were on a show together on John Malin's show back when John Malin in the old days when he used to do live streams, and he's on vacation from that for a little while right now. Mr. F-Head, Captain F-Head, thank you so much for the hail. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see you. Great to see your memes and your fun for comics and for COMICSGATE. Oh, and there's Peter. I was just talking to Peter. Peter, I was just talking to you on YouTube. Well, hey, Peter, how are you? Great to see you, man. Good to see you, Peter. Awesome.
Hey.
All right, you guys. Yeah, Outlaw Nights is coming out, and this is really cool because we get to actually preview this book and talk a bit about this book. We're not going to show you everything, but we have some very cool looking interiors. And we want to show you some of those and talk about the project and really have this be something where it's a good reference to understand where Ben's coming from on this project, what Ben's history is, how Ben got involved in this, maybe even how he met his artist, who's known as Render Contender, who's just a fantastic and disciplined artist, a great guy. So, Ben, it's great to be with you. And just to jump right into it, I always like to ask people, like, how did they get involved in comics? Is this the first comic you've ever written?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, technically, when I was younger, I tried doing my own little comic strips, but I mean, it was nothing professional at all. It was just on like little loose leaf paper. So, I mean, that's technically my quote experience in comics, but for the most part, I was just kind of an outsider fan. I wasn't a major fan of comic books. I mostly got into like the superheroes and stuff through like those compilation books that would just like describe the history of the character and stuff.
That's interesting. So like a lot of text and artwork and like their powers are this and you know, all that other cool stuff. Yeah, Marvel Universe. I love Marvel Universe. Brian, good to see you. How you doing, man? Yeah, I got to have Brian on. We got to do a show with Brian, talk about a 6-gun gorilla. And of course, the great Matt Fowler. Matt, it's great to see you too. I'll see you all the time. And every time it's like brand new. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't mean to throw you off.
Oh,
but,
hey.
Yeah, I love Marvel Universe. I think that's fantastic. You have the characters, then you kind of get to see like their different powers, their abilities, and like known affiliations and groups that they're in and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I got into like the dynamics and the drama between like heroes and villains and stuff like that. And but I mean, for the most part, I kind of fell out of it. And then it was about, I would say about 2 years ago, I randomly I had just gotten done watching Star Wars The Last Jedi. And I was like just in complete shock and disgust. And
did you like the part? Or were you like not shocked at the part where they're just sitting there and they're burning at the end like all the old Jedi books?
The whole time I just like I got thrown off by so many moments that just took me out of the movie completely.
Yeah,
like I couldn't really stay with the story for too long. Like it just got ridiculous. Like the dumb little humor and just how messy the pacing and everything was, and of course like what he did to legacy characters, you know.
So you saw an example of something that you cared about, something that you thought was cool, the Star Wars franchise, and you saw it executed badly. And were you one of these guys that was like, I mean, I could do better than that?
Yes.
Or were you one of these guys like me, where the way I started publishing comics in 1985 was I bought a bunch of black and white comics with the hope they go up in value, like the Ninja Turtles. A lot of us were speculating on comics back then, and I got one, and it was terrible. The book was
Yeah.
terrible. I was like, this is not going to go anywhere, and it didn't. And then I was like, well, I could at least do something this bad. You know, I didn't think like, well, I could do something great. I was like, all right, well, I could at least do something this bad. I did something that was better, but there were a lot of challenges putting comics together. It is not easy to put comics together. So I was inspired also by bad work. Isn't that funny? Like you see something great, it can inspire you, and you see something lousy and it can inspire you.
Well, like especially after I started watching, I think it was around that time that was when I started catching EVS on YouTube, and I loved his style and his sense of humor. And he was the one who introduced me to COMICSGATE and everything. And I started listening to more COMICSGATers from him, and especially watching stuff like Zach on Diversity in Comics. Just like seeing examples of modern day comic writing, just seeing how basic and how just completely on the nose, one dimensional it is, and how this is supposed to be like the creme de la creme. This is supposed to be Marvel and DC. Seeing that, I'm like, well, dang, like my odds just got a lot better of succeeding.
Yeah, it's true. And then of course the basic idea of COMICSGATE is just we are not trying to use the comics to have one-dimensional propaganda. We are just trying to tell stories. They can have any themes that they want to have, but not current day political whatever. We're just trying to put out well-written, well-drawn comics that we are passionate about, and that's the best thing about YouTube is being able to actually meet people, and in many cases, see the people, listen to the people, talk to the people who are behind the scenes making these comics. So you can kind of see like, well, this person's like me.
Oh yeah,
this guy. These are the kind of people that we need in comics. So that's a pretty cool inspiration. But now, Outlaw Nights takes place in space, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about the story. Like, is this present day? Is this the future?
This is the future. I haven't put an exact number, but it's roughly 1,000 years from now.
1,000 years. That is definitely far in the future.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in 1,000 years.
Well, that's the thing. I've over the years, through all the different forms this story took, I sort of created a lot of the back lore, behind it. And I use a lot of the dialogue situations to kind of flesh that out a little bit, just to give it some depth.
Let me ask you, how long have you been working on this project? In some way or another. And it's funny is like when I published College of the Dead, I've been working on that. I saw a couple of dates on files, like old files. I don't know if it was 2014 or 2015, or I know it wasn't last year, but it was a couple of years, like really a couple of years ago. But like maybe 5 years ago, a long time ago. So, but that's the great thing about COMICSGATE and publishing now is that you really can put out these ideas that we've been working on for years and years and years that we kind of thought like probably are never going to get done, but we're just interested in it. And
exactly.
I started having the book made and paying for my book before I knew what COMICSGATE was, and I knew a little bit about crowdfunding, but not enough to make it work, honestly. But I was like, I'd made books since the 1980s, and I have made more than 1,000 comics over the years, most of them in the 1990s, but I haven't made anything really in the 2000s, and I wanted to make comics again. So it's like, I'm just going to make these things, and we'll figure out how to get them out there.
That's kind of where I am, really.
Yeah. So you started working on this. Has it been a couple of years?
Oh God, I'm going to say it has been about 10.
Wow. Fantastic.
It was always something that was just kind of in the back of my mind that I would imagine about, just in my spare time, that was always just kind of a pipe dream idea for a possible movie. Mm-hmm. And then eventually it became kind of an idea. I was like, well, I might not be able to get a budget together to film something like this. So maybe I'll try like a novel. And I started writing it out as a novel. And then about like, I think midway through chapter 1 or 2, I was just like, I hate this so much.
I'm just so impressed to see first. I'll tell you, I've been around a few different eras of the comic book industry. I'm not like 170 years old, but in the 1980s era, like the black and white comics era when I sound like the senators from Massachusetts, but in that length of time, in the 80s, there was black and white Ninja Turtles and all sorts of black and white Boom comics. There were some color comics were starting to come out. The independent comics, they finally started printing on good paper, and they were getting laser scanned covers and things like that. So quality was starting to increase. Jim Shooter was at Marvel putting out like amazing comics, and indie comics started building up. And then the early 90s, of course, is when Image started, and they were doing their own thing. But as first efforts as comic books, it's just shocking to see the level of work, like the high level of work. Like, this is beautiful. This is by your artist who goes by the name Render Contender.
Oh yeah.
I saw the black and whites from this when I was on the Malin show with him. And that's actually on my channel. John was very generously gave me
I was in the chat
to share it. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were there. But for the people that are listening, like, I've seen the black and white of this, and Render was telling us, I think he spent like 12 hours or 16 hours, something enormous, on just making this absolutely perfect.
Oh God, yeah. Like, that's why, like, every time like I have like to give him notes or corrections, I always feel like such an asshole every time.
Stop it with all the tattooed characters. That's what he was talking about. I actually came up on another show yesterday too, because the writer was like, he was saying, well, hey man, I'm the writer, and look, we just need it done if it's going to be complicated. And I was like, that is true. I said, but I know that you do also care if you come up with an aesthetic for something that's not crucial, but it's actually a lot of extra work for the artist. Because the reason why, you be a good guy about all these things and you're cooperating with everybody is that you think about, like, all right, I know my artist is dedicated. He'll bust his butt to give me an incredible job. But if it's not going to move the needle, if it's not going to be significant, do we want to give him all his extra work to do? But all the work on is this the cover we're looking at?
Yes.
For Outlaw Nights? I mean, that
Absolutely.
that's one hell of a cover. It does look like a movie poster. It's kind of like a Dadaism image of combining different elements from different stories all into one cool composition. Really, really cool. So it's impossible to not go off on a tangent when you see Render Contender's work, right? So
absolutely.
So let me ask you. So we know we're in the future, like 1,000 years. Is this like deep space?
Yeah, this is going to be beyond the Milky Way. I've set up in the lore, I have it to where Earth itself is called the inland now, and pretty much all the territories in space are all just collectively referred to as the outlands.
Hey, this is 1,000 years later, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happened with climate change? Since you're in the future.
Essentially, well, climate change was the least of Earth's concerns.
Okay. Well put. That's why, guys, I mean, we should respect Mother Earth, but we also, when we're worrying, we shouldn't really worry that much. Not necessarily about Earth, but like, don't worry about things that might happen. Just be proactive when it comes to problem solving, because there are always new problems. It happened in Outlaw Nights in our future, and it happens in all our lives. So don't over worry. Just over prepare for things as much as you can. So look at these freaking cool characters. So are they part of so how does their unit work? Are they like military or mercenaries, or what are these guys doing?
Well, essentially, the guy in the center right there is our main character, Cyrus. He was a security officer in sort of this backwater for this backwater planet. Well, territory. They don't have settlements on the whole planets just yet. Exactly. There's a few planets where they've colonized the whole planet, but those are the ones that are oxygen rich. But anyway, sorry.
No, that's cool. I want this kind of background, and I mean, as long as we're not going to screw up your story or like reveals or things like that, I think it's great for people to get kind of the richness of the world and the universe and where the characters are operating. You know,
It's really hard for me to try to like. I've been trying to simplify it down in terms of like how I explain it
well,
online.
for
But
example, these are a bunch of people. They have weapons. They're trying to do stuff. Do they
yeah,
work for someone, or are they self-employed?
uh, they're all self-employed for the most part. They work for the guy with the bionic eye there,
Okay,
and they're pirates, and he's the captain.
there you go.
Mm.
There you go. And you probably get a lot of that pirate stuff because society is either everything is controlled by like the Empire and Star Wars, or you get a lot of different governments and organizations and
Exactly, and it's
social
like,
structures and stuff.
and where we are, where this story takes place, it's like right in the about 5 years in the wake of World War III. So
Oh
the idea
man,
is like everybody's still kind of, it's sort of a reconstruction era, and tensions are still kind of high.
is World War III over by now?
Yeah,
Okay, thank goodness.
but it's the idea is like people like, it's not all sunshine and roses. Everybody's the
Not
tension.
all la la happy. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. Not all la la happy. Who is the Coochie Mama over here? Who is the chickie baby with the cool
Oh
outfit?
yeah, that is Code. She's one of the tech crew members on the ship, and
I'm sorry to interrupt. Matt just had a really good reminder in there that Render Contender is the guy who drew the Graveyard Shift story for
yeah,
Graveyard Shift Book 2 with by Cal, the Sasquatch writer.
that's
That's very,
right.
very cool. Yeah. So if you want to have a complete collection of artists, then you definitely need an avatar. All right.
Yes, I do.
Captain F had something appropriate for his avatar. We will get right to it. In any event, yeah. So that artist did work on Graveyard Shift and at least that other story with Cal, which is very cool. Good
Oh
point.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that is good. That is great to know, actually.
Oh, you know.
Yeah. Your guy's gotten around, so you're not messing around. If he's good enough for John Malin, he could be good enough for all of us.
I just, when I think it was, I don't even know what book it was from that he was showing the artwork, but I just saw he had this big spread of a woman, and I just thought it was super sexy, and I'm like, I need my book to look sexy like that. So that was when I
Oh, nice.
messaged him.
That's the great thing about artists. They know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, yeah, we could do that. We could sexy it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm having an artist do something for me now, and I'm like, she needs a little bit more. She needs more. Give her more. Healthier. And he's fleshing her out a little bit, so to speak. Now, is this the bridge of their ship?
Yeah, and this is going to be a double page spread.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in here. And there's the guy. Oh, yeah. I saw him the other night. We were on a stream with Wenger.
Oh yeah, that's
And
my man Ivory.
yeah, okay. So he's Ivory. So this is their ship. Ivory, is he in charge? He's the guy who's in charge of the ship?
Yep, he's the captain.
He looks laid back. He's having a drink, smoking a cigar.
It's sort of an e-cigar kind of.
Okay. 1,000 years they can do that. And they're probably not even unhealthy at that point. Did you ever see that Woody Allen movie Sleeper, by the way?
Oh God, no. I really didn't do a lot of Woody Allen. I think I only saw like a couple of scenes from some Woody Allen movies.
Well, this bears on what we're talking about right now. Real quick, I'll tell you. Woody Allen did a movie that took place many years in the future. I don't know if a few hundred years or 1,000 years, whatever the duration was. I'm not sure. But by that time, it was just funny. He woke up from somehow he wound up getting frozen. He woke up like a couple hundred years later, and then he is in a whole different world because we're in the future at that point. And they tell him that drinking and smoking cigars is healthy. And he's like, "Oh no, I don't smoke." And they're like, "No, no, it's healthy. It's healthy." He's like, "Really? Okay." So he's smoking and all that. It's just kind of funny. It's the opposite of what probably things. I mean, not probably, but maybe things are the opposite of the way they tell us. Who knows? Who's he? Who's he talking to over here? He's
That's
holding his drink while he's talking to this guy. That's funny.
yeah, this is when Cyrus first meets him, and Cyrus essentially has this, he has his nose turned up. But well, first of all, he's been kidnapped, so he's pissed off. So, and
Okay.
another thing is that when he meets Ivory, of course, he's got a strong hatred for pirates and criminals and such. So, Ivory's trying to be being kind of coy with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
Ivory's
Very
kind of a
cool.
wise ass. He likes to
Very
tweak
cool.
people's noses.
This is just so cool. This scene. So this is is this like a Stargate or what is this crazy circle
I
thing?
basically called it a security checkpoint. It's it orbits the planet Andraste, and the idea is like people have to go through it in order to get to the settlement down there.
Isn't that interesting? So
Yeah,
it's like protected by a force field, but you can get through, but you have to go through the security gate first.
yeah, something like that.
Don't forget the force field part.
Yes,
Well, maybe it draws them somehow, with some kind of power like that.
a gravity well.
Yeah, either gravity well. Yeah, there you go. Well, who knows what it would pull in, but maybe it just automatically targets it or something like tractor beam type of deal. Like everything gets pulled that direction.
Exactly. And this is actually page 1. That's why the idea is the security stations on everything's going nuts because they uploaded a virus into their computer network.
Oh boy. Oh, that's the virus.
Yep.
Winking at her.
Mm-hmm.
So 1,000 years from now, we still have this winky emoji guy. That's funny. That's funny. And she's a regular member of the crew. She's communications.
Yeah.
How cool. How cool. So now they're dealing with a virus, and she's like, "Oh man, this is not good."
Oh yeah, because the idea is like the ship Hazard is blowing right through right as they uploaded that virus to the mainframe.
She does have kind of a funny, "Oh, what did I do? What did I do?" look, like it was her fault.
I think no, render was really that was all to be for Uhura, I think.
Okay, well, this is very Uhura. But if you look at her expression here, excuse me when I circle around here, but over here, like if you look at her eyes, she looks sad.
Yeah, she's
Like maybe it's
concerned.
her fault. All right. Very, very nice that she cares about the ship and what's going on. So you're not launched yet. You're launching September 24th, which I think was cool how you put that in your Twitter with next to your name. Pretty much everybody I think in the world knows that this is launching September 24th, which is good. Everybody in the world should know. Then they got to buy it. That's important. So you did a sign up page, which is great. Not everybody does. I didn't do a sign up page for my campaign, but I kind of wish I had. It seems like it's worked really well for everybody. So have you gotten some people signing up to this?
Yeah, we're up to about 73 people on the email list, but I'd like to up those numbers.
Let's get it up to 10,000. Well, I mean, look, you're getting around, you're showing your stuff. People are talking about it in a positive way. You have Render Contender on the art. You've explained it's 1,000 years in the future. It is kind of cool. It looks good. It looks interesting. So what everybody should be doing is sign up to this, and I'm sure they allow you to share this page, or I hope they allow you to share this page.
Yeah.
There it is. So we can share this page. In fact, let's share it right now. Oh,
heck yeah.
wait, I just clicked on. So that's not sharing. All right. If you click on the bottom, it just takes you to either Twitter or Facebook. I don't know. I'm sure it's there someplace. If not, you could just copy it and paste it into a tweet. So people should be sharing this. People should be signed up to it. Now, this is one of those things as well. To be signed up to it, you have to put your email address in.
Yeah.
And then you also you agree to these terms, but then you have to go and confirm it because they don't want you. They don't want anybody on the list who's going to be spamming or whatever. And they want people to actually sign up for it themselves. So in any event, to sign up for this, you just get to this page. The link is in my description at the bottom. of the video, and you want to put your email address in, I agree to terms of service, click sign up, and then you're going to be on the list, and you'll know what's going on with Outlaw Nights issue 1, Genesis of a Renegade. And then just check your email and just make sure to say, click accept, and yes, it's okay to get the mailings. And then you'll be able to know, when are you going to email them? Are you going to email them on the 23rd and say, hey, it's coming out tomorrow, or on the 24th and say, hey guys, it's out now?
Well, I have Render working on one last page for our promotion, and I'm hoping to be able to send that out in the email, but that might not happen in time, in which case I'm going to email everybody early on the 23rd.
All right. So if you have the promo art that you want, you're going to do it on the 24th. I'm on the list. So you'll send all of us an email that says, hey, we've launched and we'll be excited about the art that you're showing us, because I'm sure if it's from Render, it's going to be super awesome.
Absolutely.
Do you want to tell us what it is and blow the whole thing?
Well, I mean, it's just...
No, don't tell us. Don't tell us.
Well,
I always talk about ruining everybody's surprises and secrets. No, we're not going to ruin anything. Everybody,
I know what page number it is. I don't know exactly what's on it because I haven't looked at my script in a long time.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, hey, it is somebody, Deo. Great to see you. Oh, hey, Matt.
Hey.
I think it's Matt Fowler we're talking to, but that's okay. Great to see you guys. All right, so sign up. It's either going to come on the 23rd or 24th, reminding you that this great project is launching. Do you know what? Can you talk about? I mean, you got to talk about some of it. You know how many pages this project's going to be by now, right?
Yes, it's going to be 48, and we have stretch goals to extend that.
We have 48 pages of color.
Yep.
Very cool. There'll be stretch goals to extend it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to urge you, just be careful there, because, remember, when you're finishing these things, every last extra bit that you put on is the straw. And that straw is the one that breaks the camel's back in terms of deadlines and getting stuff out and turning it around. So just, look at it. Like, for example, if you're going to do a backup story by another creative team, it's one thing and it's a little easier to control versus Render doing his best work and then telling him, hey, man, you just have to add another 30 pages. So you just got to be super careful. Kyle with Starblades, we're so happy for Kyle Ritter. He did 122,000 on his first comic, Starblades. He met a stretch goal, I think it was at 60,000, when he went from 48 pages to 60 pages, and then he just went nuts and went for 90 pages, but his extra 30 pages at that point are going to be making of stuff for the book. So definitely, why don't you take a look at what Kyle did too? I'm sure you've looked at a lot of campaigns.
Oh, yeah. Kyle, actually, he was the one who gave it. Was him. It was Starblades being advertised via an email page that gave me the idea to do this email page.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
Well, that Will Heroic Studios too.
Cool. Well, we all learn from each other like that. And I'm looking at this again and thinking to myself, man, I got to do this for my next project. So we all have to. Anybody who's thinking about doing a project, it's pretty simple. Indiegogo helps you. Now, what's also very cool about this is, and that's another good thing about having this link that I put in the description, this same link will convert to your regular campaign and go away as a mailing list once the campaign launches. You know that. So. Yeah, it will. It will. Yeah, man, it will. And that's great for you because everybody who has this like bookmarked or saved somewhere, it's going to go directly to it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's going to be good. All right. Let's see. So you're going to be 48 pages in color. There will be stretch goals. Have you decided if you're going to do a flex or a flexible or a fixed goal yet? You're going to do fixed, right?
Yeah. I'm doing a fixed goal, and I know it's high. It's going to be about 10,000.
Make it 800,000. Because look how much money Ethan Van Sciver made. But no, 10 is a little high.
I know it's just, it's one of those things where I feel like be safe and to, I'm still establishing trust with the backers, and I don't want to I don't want to come up short with a flexible goal and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you the book.
Well, you've run your numbers and you know what your costs are, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be surprises, but you know how much you need to pay your artist, you know how much you're paying your colorist,
Yeah.
and you roughly know what it costs to print these things.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just figure even in a printing a short quantity, something like $5 or $6, and shipping if you do a priority mail, it could be $8. So carving shipping out, if your costs are going to be, let's say, $6 just to be on the safe side. Of course, I don't know what your art budget is, but if you deduct, just about everybody's charging $25 for their books, $25. You get back roughly 90% of that, a little bit more than 90, but roughly that. Um, you you might be able to. I mean, I don't know. It's just something. It's good to look at the numbers. Why is it an issue with the fixed goal being high? Why? I will tell you why. And I had this problem, except I did it flexible, which was even worse. Um, so I did a $5,000 goal for my black and white project, which is 140 pages, and we did fund College of the Dead, and the links are in the description for College of the Dead as well. But the problem is if it doesn't start really eating into that total number that you need right away, it is a problem because you don't want to be like 8% funded 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
Because if you start off too slow, here's the things that work against you are, one, when backers see it, they start to feel like, well, this looks like it won't get funded. If they think that, they will not back it where they otherwise would have, even though they would get their money refunded back to them if it's not complete.
Yeah.
So that is a big psychological negativity. I know I lost a lot of sales doing that because my percentages of funding were too low initially. And the other thing that it does is the campaigns that tend to fund slower as a percentage and have less activity, they get pushed less by Indiegogo's algorithm that recommends your projects when other people are buying projects. So the discovery on it's very poor. So you lose exposure on Indiegogo, which then just serves to slow the campaign down even further.
Yeah.
So, but of course, there's no point in funding, setting up funding for this if you're not going to hit your number.
Yeah.
The number that you need to deliver this stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Just so you know, like there's no shame in the game of offering 30 days on your campaign, and then if you don't hit the number that you want to hit when it winds up getting funded, extending for another 30 and just working that much harder during those 30 days, and then going into in demand even after that. So what happened with me, just so you know, I did a 30-day campaign. I had no plans on doing and extending the campaign. We had, by the end of 30 days, maybe we were 2,500 or 3,000 on a 5,000 goal. And I was flexible. And I decided I was not going to continue the campaign. But I don't know, a couple of my friends were like, listen, let's push this. We'll work with you. Let's do this. They brought me on some shows. And I was able to hit, by the end of the first 30 days, you know what? No, I wasn't able to get it for the first 30 days. Sorry about that. So I didn't make it. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to extend. $2,500 would have been enough for me to have produced it anyway because the work is long since paid for. And then I just thought, you know what? We'll do bigger on the next campaign. But my friends of mine were like, listen, you should just extend it. So I did extend it. And then I pushed it more, was doing more YouTube shows, being on more people's channels. And then eventually, we did get very close, and then we were able to fund over the $5,000 goal, and that was ended at like 5,300. And then I kept it in demand, and we're now up to like 6,500, and it worked out really well. So if you look at your printing costs, and just look at the numbers again, and just make sure that you set it as low as you possibly can, that you're going to cover your costs.
Okay.
That's my best advice, and we can always talk about this, off the show. But this kind of conversation, I know, is helpful to people too who are thinking about projects, even people that are observing projects, to understand what we kind of go through as creators. I also wanted to do 5,000 because to me, I was like, well, I mean, I spent um, just under that in producing the editorial for the comics. I was like, well, I want to at least, totally break even and whatever, but you can do that. But sometimes you're doing it by extending the campaign and then also doing in demand. Well, so the work is beautiful work. So you can come back with, after you complete it, you can come back with another cover version, maybe after it ships, or, even before it ships, you can come back with, a new cover, even by, people love Render's work. So another Render cover or somebody else's, you can come back with a hardcover version. I don't know if you know Narwhal or not.
I've heard of him.
Okay. Look up his book, Earthbound. He did a soft cover version, and his work is gorgeous. His numbers weren't, it should have been much higher. Sometimes it's just hard to understand why some things fund certain ways and other things don't. But he then later on, I saw, did a hardcover version of it, and he raised, as much or even more money on the hardcover version. Difference being, as far as I understand it, just that it's a hardcover. I could be wrong, but yeah, look up his project, Earthbound, and you can just kind of see, like, so if you wind up doing 6,000 or 7,000 on this, and what you really wanted was 10, you might, go ahead and come back and do a hardcover version in a couple of months, and then the hardcover might actually be printed at the same time as a soft cover. So you can have economies like that.
Okay.
A lot of ways to make it work, my friend. A lot of ways to make it work. But I would suggest that you do try to keep it fixed on the goal. Flexible is not good because it's difficult for the customers. They don't know if Adam has a $5,000 goal and he gets 2,200. Is he going to keep the money and not ship the book? Or, is he going to ship a worse book or worse paper, or, what the heck's going to happen? How's he going to get the money he needs? By the time they're thinking through that, they're not excited about buying anymore.
Yeah.
We got to keep people motivated. Your work is gorgeous. The book is gorgeous. I think this would fund at 10,000. It just takes the less the goal is, it takes pressure off you.
Okay.
That's my whole long story about that.
Well, no, I mean, I appreciate the heck out of it because, it was kind of an odd dilemma for me, but I feel like setting it at least, it's like, I know 10,000 is what I'm going to need to produce it and get it shipped. And so it's like,
well, just triple check those. Just triple check those numbers.
Okay.
I'm going to put this printer's name in the chat. Kablam.com. And who is Kablam.com? They're an independent printer. They have been it's run by a comic book artist, but his main gig is this printing business, run by a guy named Barry Gregory, very reputable guy, a nice guy, and a lot of artists use him for self-published books that they do sell to comic stores as well, and books that they sell at conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, all the big conventions and stuff. So he's known as a really reputable guy. But one of the best things about him is, well, first of all, quality is very, very good. That is helpful. But the absolute best thing about him, I think, is his printing prices are right on his website. So when we're done talking, or even while we're talking, you can go to kablam.com. If that's wrong, then I think that's how the exact domain is. Good for you, Longbox. Save that, man. I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah. Kablam. So you can do whatever you've got. 48 pages. You could do a 60-page version. Different paper stocks. Different binding. Back in the day, they used to do hardcovers. They don't do them anymore. But they also do what you probably would love for your stretch goals: prints, and I think they might do trading cards, but they do prints, postcards, and posters, and some other stuff that they do, like extra cool incentive items. So it's worth it to really take a look at it.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Check out Kablam, and just check out Kablam, and don't worry also about overprinting so much. Just look at it in terms of what's your unit cost to print. If you're going to get, let's say, a project like yours is going to get anywhere from 200 to 400 backers as a color book like this. Maybe more on a bad day, maybe less. So if you look at 400 backers is 400 copies. Don't worry about excess copies at the moment, and then just work the cost backwards from there.
Alrighty.
Let's see what this guy's saying. Mick Cool. Hey, Mick Cool. I just had Mick Nuggets. No offense. Mick Cool's, look, we're not trying to go crazy with you, but the chat's got stuff to say. Let's hear it. I would say set the goal no higher than $4,000 and just promote the hell out of it. You son of a gun, you. You'll make 10K easy. You know
I've
what?
heard that before.
Mick Cool, that's very wise. That's probably why you're known as Mick Cool. But that is wise, and it is true that we like having fun. But it's good. It's good, sincere advice, and these are not trolls. These are brothers in arms and sisters in arms.
No, I appreciate it.
Trying to help. We don't want you to see you do it, because what's funny is you'll freak out if you don't fund enough, but you will freak out the entire time you're trying to hit, a goal that's like 30% or 40% too high. My goal should have been $3,000 max, even with a Kyle Ritter colored cover. Had no business being more than $3,000. And I would have funded faster. I would have done better on the Indiegogo algorithm, which means a lot. Did you ever notice, like, you go into Indiegogo and you're looking up your project or someone else's project, whatever, that there's certain projects they keep pushing?
Yeah.
Those are the projects that they have activity and people going to the page and people getting it funded and percent funded and stuff. That's why some people do like super silly low goals like $100, or even a really low goal like 1,000. I definitely wouldn't suggest 1,000. But if you can be between $3,000 and $4,000 and you continue to promote, you're gonna do well. And something like this could take off. I had this guy. I don't know if you've seen the Grom project on.
A little bit, yeah.
And he's got great energy. This guy Gilbert. But he's got a $15,000 goal, and the book looks interesting. He's very interesting, but 15 that's a number. That's a number to have to hit.
Yeah.
So he's kind of up against it with that. That could really limit his success.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just something to think about. 74 people on a list is very good. I've heard you're going to convert probably a third of those people to buyers. And convert them right away. I think I'm remembering a conversation that I had with Clint Stokey from Sweetcast, because I certainly did ask him, because he's one of the most just disciplined, and he's great about sharing information and wanting to see other people succeed. And I think that's what he said. So if you figure like you wind up getting your list up to 90 because you're going to hustle between now and then, or even where you're at, whatever, 75, 25 sales, hopefully you wind up with an average of 50 bucks per sale. And then is that a ton of money? No, but $12.50 is a piece. It's a chunk. And I didn't even start with a mailing list. So you're also having a launch party Tuesday, right?
Yep.
So who are you doing a launch party with?
Arch City Comics.
Adam, the other Adam. That's how he and I refer to each other. Yes,
he's a really good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He works hard for COMICSGATE and other small publishers, and well, I guess all COMICSGATE people. But yeah, he's really good people. He has a great channel, Arch City Comics. You guys should really subscribe to it. I've been on streams with him before. So you're going to do like a couple of hours with him?
Yeah, we think so. We're gonna treat it kind of like New Year's. We're gonna watch the ball drop.
Nice. I like the launch party idea. I want to start doing that too. Launch parties and end of stream, end of campaign parties and all sorts of parties. But all these things take a lot of time. So one thing at a time, and trying to keep getting one thing right if we can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody should sign up for Outlaw Nights on the mailing list. All right. The price is right for that. It's free. Share this page. Figure out some way to do it. I couldn't figure it out, but share that around too.
I'm just doing the old copy paste.
Yeah, copy paste. It works. Sign up to this. Make sure you get let's hopefully at least get him up to at least 80 people tonight. That would be kind of cool. Sign up for the list. Go ahead into your email after you sign up. Make sure you accept, and then you'll get an email and see some extra artwork from Render Contender, who's a freaking fantastic artist. Is there anything else that we should know about Outlaw Nights? I mean, this is issue 1. You have more issues planned in mind, right?
Yes, I do. Right now, I currently want to make it a 6-issue series, but it's a
Cool.
series that if it gets enough people watching or reading it, I'd love to keep it going after that because I have tons of ideas.
I'll bet. I mean, it's a whole jelly goblin. Very wise. Mailing lists are back, baby. Totally true. We need mailing lists. And you know what? I want paper mailing lists. I want us to be mailing stuff to people, and not just the books. I want to send a postcard next time I'm going to do a campaign, like a really, really cool postcard to whoever the backers were from College of the Dead in the first place. In fact, maybe I'll get a mailing list going for the next College of the Dead book, like right away, and then I can mail people a postcard when the time is right for when something. Well, I can't if I don't have their mailing address, just their email address.
We are in talks.
Well,
about doing some trading cards, and hopefully we're going to do a poster. I'd like to do a poster.
Do trading cards as a stretch goal,
I want the poster for me.
Just do one for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah. Make Render draw something just for you. He's a good guy. Is he working on anything else?
I know. I think he's doing commissions for other people. I'm not too sure exactly what though, but I know his schedule's pretty full.
All right. What's your Twitter? What's your Twitter account too? So if people can follow you.
My Twitter account, it's at Fusilier Ben. I know that's kind of an annoying thing.
Can you type it in the chat?
Let me get on there real quick.
Yeah, when you get a minute. And if you happen to know Renders, he's just at Render Contender.
Yeah.
Spell it any way you want. It'll get to him.
Oh, and I think if you click on the Twitter button on the email page there, it should lead to.
Okay. Well, this is Ethan retweeting my video. I did a video also on Ethan Van Sciver's and COMICSGATE humiliating the haters because Cyberfrog is shipping. So Ethan retweeted it, which was great. I appreciate him doing that. Well, long story short, Outlaw Nights. Let's see, Outlaw Nights. It's going to be sexy. Did I say that? You said that? Never mind that. Sounds like something I would say. Okay, Outlaw Nights. There it is. Never mind that. Fusilier Ben. Cool. Fusilier Ben. Okay, at Fusilier Ben. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter. Make sure you're part of Outlaw Night. It looks like it's going to be a great COMICSGATE book. Watch out for the email when you get notified from it. And also check out my project. You can check out in the description, College of the Dead. I actually have a new link in the description also of me showing the prototypes for College of the Dead, printed prototypes, because the book is so almost ready to get printed. We're definitely printing and shipping in October. But I have printed prototypes already of the first versions of them. And man, do they look fantastic. They look amazing. You can see the actual video in the description, link to that. Ben, thank you so much for being with us. It's been terrific. I know the chat had a good time. Oh, there's Fusebox right there. McCool, thank you for your advice. Jelly, thank you for talking about mailing lists. Longbox, it's always great to see you. Longbox also has a very cool channel. You could just put Longbox Diving in your YouTube search. You're going to find it. Captain F-Head is a great member of the community, even with that silly name, but he really is good people. Matthew Fowler, I love seeing you around. I don't know how to say this person's first name, but it's Rusty Dio. And there's Peter. He and I were just chatting. Feel free to leave comments on any of my videos. I really like to try to respond to everybody. Brian, you are a pretty amazing guy yourself with the 6-Gun Gorilla. I want to find out more about your campaign. We're going to get talking. And Just you guys are great people. Thank you so much for supporting people like Ben, people like me. We're just trying to make really, really great comics. You guys are making it possible to do things, because otherwise, you know, it would really be a lost art. We wouldn't be able to get to do the things that we love, love, love to do. So thank you for all your support. Everybody have an amazing night. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic.
All
I
right.
probably say fantastic